cold, sterile walls and fluorescent lights, it was cut off from the rest of the world. The next note came with the appearance of only 20 dragons.
Friends, we apologize for our few numbers. We have had to remain in fantasy for quite some time. The others are growing impatient. We are trying to keep the peace, but please, for all of our happiness, prepare the room quickly. We know you are trying. Your family is the most imaginative of us all. The giants were foolish. Your room was not ready to accept them yet. We're sorry, friends. We hope that we can still see you, but time is growing short for our happiness.
What fragile peace existed in their world seemed to be deteriorating, with frustrated parties like the giants trying to come and speak with us directly. Their bodies, the crumpled pieces of paper, were picked up by the paper dragons and carried back into the box when they departed. Their reverence and respect was lost on us. Their visits became shorter and more tension-filled, and their numbers dwindled further. The next note was delivered by 5 dragons, who departed immediately after placing it on the sterile facility floor.
Tensions are rising. Fantasy is becoming darker. We, the serpents and the hybrids, are furiously trying to hold them back, but the giants and elves wish to strike and make an entrance. They say that your family has grown stupid and ignorant. We hope it's not true. It would set us all greatly to know you have forgotten.
A single red dragon crawled from the box, its wings torn, and its body noticeably crumpled. Shortly after emerging, it collapsed on the floor and did not move again.
Goodbye, friends.
A couple hours later, the box flew open and a white-hot fire burst from within, rising high above the box's rim. The heat was so intense that the glass of the observation window began to melt, and the walls blistered and burned, and the ceiling charred. This blazing fire seemed to continue for hours, then suddenly, several dozen crumpled paper balls and torn shreds were thrown out of the box. They fell to the floor, unmoving. Then all at once, the box went still. It was empty, as it always had been. Over the next few weeks, the box periodically opened with its fiery fury. More paper bodies would appear each time, though their numbers steadily decreased. We had no way of knowing when the box would close for the last time, but it did, and it remained still for months afterwards. In its silent, still state, one researcher looked inside and discovered a note.
Are you still out there, friends? We miss you dearly. Fantasy is no longer safe. Our haven, your beautiful creation, is gone. The giants are dead. The centaurs are dead. The birds have fled. We are going to bury your room. We cannot risk hurting you. This is our goodbye. Maybe one day your family can build another home. This may be a hollow home, but we will cherish this thought.
The final note from the dragons came sometime after. The box had returned to its original state, but with one key difference. The side now read, "Here were dragons."